Check, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Tuesday. Are you going to say it? Like, what the heck?
No, I wanted you to say it. I wanted to see if you would say it.
Welcome to the What's the Temp podcast. My name is Betina, and I am coming in hot.
Oh, you say it differently every time, and I always think I'm not going to smile that time, and
That
then I
is
do.
funny.
No one makes me smile like you. I'm Jen, and I need to check in so I don't check out.
Good morning, Jen. Today's episode is called The College Conspiracy. And
love that.
Yeah, in our love series, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm excited.
How are we going to make this about love? I'm not sure yet.
Well, I feel like The College Conspiracy is about love because it's really us teaching our children how to love themselves, because I feel like this conversation kind of wants to set us on a path of to degree or not to degree. And I think the conversation is actually more nuanced than that. I feel that the conversation actually lies in teaching work ethic with agency and accountability. So I don't think it's a
two of my favorite A words.
To degree or not to degree question. And I feel like you and I stand on either sides of this conversation. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. So the temp check today then is, what's your my kid has to go to college temperature this week?
Oh, I forgot. We chose that one.
Yeah.
Well, my kid has to go to college temp is 18 degrees.
Okay. Come on, college graduate, and tell me the story.
I definitely don't want my kids to go to college right out of high school, but I would not be upset if they decided not to go at all.
Mm-hmm.
This is so funny though, because it's not like it's just my decision, because I have a dad in the picture, and I asked him last night in preparation of this episode, do you want the kids to go to college? And he said yes, he does.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens in 15 years. But basically, there's no rush. But I don't think children have any business making $250,000 decisions. And when I was 18, my considerations for which college I would attend, one of the colleges I almost went to it because they had an amazing sandwich in that town. Like, that's how immature I was and how irresponsible I was as far as considering the financial, because I wanted to go to film school. That's what I was interested in. So I was deciding between USC and Northwestern originally. This is before I had found out whatever colleges I ended up getting into. This is when I was deciding where to apply.
Okay.
So it was NYU, USC, or Northwestern. And Northwestern was in Evanston, Illinois, and they have this place called Potbelly Sandwiches. And that sandwich was a huge calling for me to go and live in the Midwest, which is so crazy. And then basically every other college campus, the thing that I was the most interested in was like, how many hot people are there and how many opportunities might I have to hook up? That was kind of beginning and end of thought process. So that's where I was at. Just not a wise thing to be choosing. Not a wise,
on a sandwich.
A sandwich, or just like, do I see any hot lesbians around here?
Yeah,
because
that's
what I was that's what I was the most, and that's what my eyes were peeled for. Just keeping it real, because I was ready to bust out of my small town and live my big gay life.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting into Barnard, which is part of Columbia, and Wesleyan. And then I ultimately made the decision based on the fact that at Wesleyan, I saw people sitting outside on couches on the hill smoking bongs. Okay.
Wow.
So let's just If my kid ever threw $250,000 of my money down the drain, either because they wanted to hook up with people, because they wanted to eat a particular sandwich, or because they wanted to smoke bongs on a hill, I would kill them, you know? So I'm just thinking now as a parent, the way that I went into college was with zero foresight. Now, here's what I wish I had done. I wish I had taken a gap year, gotten a job, and learned the value of the dollar. That's what I wish I had done. Because I was just living in a dream world. I thought I'm some type of Renaissance woman. I'm going to go and I'm going to study. And this is what I did. I'm going to study music. I'm going to study psychology. And I'm going to study philosophy. How is that going to earn you back $250,000?
Yeah.
That is what I couldn't see. I didn't know how much my rent was costing. I didn't know how much my food was costing. And I didn't know how much my studies were costing. Then skip ahead, when I considered going to graduate school for music, still didn't get the memo. I got the first bill. It was like $30,000. And I was like, I balked. I was like, what is this $300 admin fee? And that's because I had already been in the working world. And now $300 means something to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I had been on a career path to become a doctor, or if my daughter wants to become a doctor, which actually is what Herschel wants her to be, for sure, you can go straight into college because that makes sense because your studies will translate into a lucrative career.
Absolutely.
But if my daughter tells me she wants to study art history, I'm going to be like, you get that gap year in, girl. Go work at a bank, go work pumping gas, do whatever. That's what I wish I had done. And then with my son, because everything is going AI and because I'm not, obviously, okay, it goes without saying that if one or both of my kids is extremely passionate about something, I'm going to be behind them 100% because that's the type of person I am.
And that's the first ingredient, though.
That's the most important thing. Even if you want to be a stand-up comic. I mean, honestly, if Maya told me I want to open a hair salon, I'd be like, you go get that money, girl.
Yeah.
Because that is A, recession-proof, B, the big bucks. Like, you know how much money I spend on my hair every year?
Yeah.
It's wild, and that's just one person. So to get back to the AI thing, I would really love it if my son would do something in the human world. Just because he seems like I mean, I know he's one, but he just seems like he wants to smash everything and push everything and manipulate things. And I think that the art of fixing and building things is kind of a lost art, and you can make a lot of money as someone who's doing construction, or like I would love it if he would own his own pool company or something. Like do something where you're bringing a vision to life. Wouldn't that be so cool? Or do something that's not going to be phased out by AI. So I feel that if they wanted to do something that was a pre-professional degree, like I'm going to go get this degree in architecture so I can become an architect, I would say yes, makes sense. But if they wanted to go and study something very liberal
passionate about, or
a trade
whatever,
would also be great because then you're setting yourself up for success. But what I did is just go in completely blind and study philosophy with no intention of becoming a teacher, which is basically the only career you can have from that. So I would like them to be intentional.
Yeah.
What is your temp check?
It's a little hard for me because I'm on both sides of the fence. So I believe that Americans have suffered much on the educational front in this country, period. Like they've allowed scammy schools to come up and rope these unsuspecting kids into mountains of debt for an education. Horrible. You can't even call it an education. I'm using air quotes for an education that would benefit them nothing in the workplace. Like they could never earn enough to outpace what they needed to pay off. And that's was so sad.
Almost every career.
So then you have the scammy side, but then you have the cost of reputable colleges being astronomical, which kind of lends to the side that if you don't come from privilege, it's unaffordable for you. So where people can get advanced degrees, still have mountains of debt, but then here I come with a high school diploma, some college just as necessary to advance my career, and no college debt, and run circles around a person that's sitting next to me that has $300,000 worth of debt.
Yes.
But because I had the work ethic and the need to earn because I was a single parent and had kids at home, I could go and push in a way that they weren't taught to push.
Right.
And so me pushing forward, it was innate because of my situation at home and because I had a desire to succeed because I had children at home. It did not come from me sitting in someone's classroom telling me how to be an adult and how to succeed in the workplace. So it's like there's this complexity that really kind of just keeps me going back to, do you degree or don't you degree? Where I stand today is not having a degree has never stopped me from making six figures, either in corporate or outside of corporate America, right?
Yeah.
I've done it both. I've done it in working for somebody
all the
else,
time.
and I've done it working for myself. But that being said, who I am, if I had not had my children so early, I would totally have a PhD.
Yeah.
See the tension for me?
Learn.
Because I learn on a daily basis with no one
But what would you get
telling
it
me
in?
to.
That's my question for you. How would you choose one thing?
I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea what I would get it in. But
PhD is very narrow, you have to specialize.
I fully plan to go back to school and do some things, not to earn, because that's never stopped me before, but to just show the next generation coming up behind me and my family that you can literally do whatever you want to do. Like, don't let whatever it is you set yourself out to do it. Just do everything you do with your whole heart. That's all I care about. Be the best.
Yeah.
So that's mine. My temperature there is I guess it would be a 60.
60?
Outdoor temp.
You never do outdoor.
It would be a 60 outdoor temp because I'm not on either side of this thing. I want the person to do what they really feel they should do down to their toes.
Yes, I know.
If you're an upcoming teenager and you're passionate about hair, go be the best hairstylist ever. I would make sure that you have a person in your life that helps you to create a backup plan, because standing on your feet doing people's hair for 20 years takes a toll on your body. And let's create a plan for that from the onset, but do it and
get
rock
a mentor.
Out.
You don't need to pay a mentor. Yeah, there's all kinds of paths you can take.
So many things you can do. So that's my temp check on that, because I want a generation of people that I also don't agree with, I want my kid to be this, because then you force your kid into this educational thing because you're paying for it and they're miserable the whole time. So it's really about, I feel, learning your kid and then guiding them.
They're not always miserable though, just because
not always, but I'm saying it happens a lot of times.
It definitely does. I'm just thinking of the counter example is my friend who, a lot of times people from Asian cultures get pressured into being doctors and then they become doctors, but I can't really say any of the ones I know are unhappy being doctors. You know what I mean? It's not like they had a choice. They were going to become a doctor.
Went to school to become a doctor and dropped the title, like, oh no, I'm going to go.
Yeah, it could go either way.
It could go either way. And I want us as the elders to kind of lean into that. Like, I understand guiding them into a profession.
You have to check your temp.
I get that,
throughout.
but really check their temperature. Like, is this person really cut out for this?
Because it can change. You don't know when you commit to something if you're even suited for that. I mean, especially medicine, you go through a decade plus of school. How do you even know you'll like that thing? It's such a huge risk.
And then you have to really like people. Who the hell wants to have to focus on a chairside manner? And I don't even like people.
Yes.
Let's start right
there.
The
woman who delivered Maya did not like people. She was literally on her phone the entire time I was giving birth. I was like, you have a terrible bedside manner.
Yes. So there's so much to take into consideration when you're having this conversation.
Let's get into it.
Let's go into our backstory.
Yes.
Supporting each other through non-traditional career paths. You know that I've obviously had one, so let's talk about it.
And I want you to kick it off because I've never wanted or had a career. So I'm going to let you lead.
So you know that my career choice was completely out of necessity, but once I chose, I was all in, like 10 toes. All of me was into this field. Remember when my children were little, it wasn't even about having a career. It was about jobs because I was so young. Remember that. But then once I got to the point, I was in my early 20s and I was like, okay, this is after their dad died. And I was just like, all right, I have to provide for these kids for myself. And a job isn't going to do it. Like some fly-by-night job isn't going to do it. I need a career to get these kids. I was thinking long game for the first time in my life. And so I'm thinking, I have to get them to college and I got to do it by myself. How am I going to make this happen? And so then I had to start fleshing out careers.
Amazing.
And I was always fascinated by teeth, but I
every time
like
you say that,
people.
I'm like, did I hear her correctly?
I was fascinated by teeth. I love teeth. Like good teeth it's just a thing, honey.
Good teeth is a thing. I'll give you that.
But I didn't necessarily like people.
Yes.
I didn't necessarily like people. Like I don't like to be in people's face and I don't like people in my face. So I couldn't be a dentist. And how I found that out is I interned for a family friend, a dentist's office. And she let me come in for a few days and just suit up with her. And she said that so while I had on a mask, you know, the masks that we wore through COVID. So while I had on a mask, so my mouth, the bottom half of my face was covered. My eyes showed my trauma and disgust from looking inside
I can imagine
of people's
it well.
mouths. So she was like, yeah, this isn't for you. Don't come back here. She asked me not to come back. And so I was heartbroken because I thought dentistry was my thing. But then after I continued my research, because I don't give up, I found dental technology. And when I found dental technology, it was as if the skies opened up and I heard angels singing. I'm not kidding you. That was going to be my key because I got to tinker with teeth, but I didn't have to deal with the people behind the teeth. I'm
just you and the teeth in a basement.
The teeth, yes. So in a laboratory, I'm in a lab and I'm separate from the person. And that was it because I could help them have a better life. I literally would sit on the bench with these models and like say if a person had a mangled before situation and we were doing a full mouth reconstruction, I'm like talking to it the whole time. I'm like, I know your daddy didn't get you braces, but it's okay, boo, because you're going to have a good life going forward because look at these teeth I'm making for you. Yes. Girl, I would talk to them, all this and that. I really loved what I did.
I bet they felt those results because when you're cooking with love, no matter what you're cooking up,
that's how
you can feel it. You can feel it. I would have liked to receive those teeth.
It
would have given me a real confidence boost.
In the Bible that struck me early that said, do everything that you do as if you're doing it for God. And so that was how I made teeth as if they were going into God's mouth. I'm not kidding you. So I would always choose the best size and shape and arch form. And it was that for me because I really wanted the person to have an amazing experience in life. And I felt that
you make a great employee. I would hire you.
That started as a good smile with a good smile. And so
I'd rather have you over the person who went to college. I want the person who's making God's teeth up in here.
Yes. So that was like the key for me to get my children, but it was a means to an end. Make sense? Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm so passionate. I didn't know that I was passionate about it until I got into it. And then once I got into it, I was
find
able
something and then you committed to it.
Yes, threw all of me into it and it blessed me.
Because you had 3 mouths to feed.
Yeah. And then once I was in it, I was in it. Like I was in the career.
The half measures type.
There's nothing about me that's halfway. So that was me. And so I feel that when you're listening to kids that are saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, first we have to expose them. Thank God I found that in my 20s because what if I hadn't and I ended up working in somebody's warehouse because I had 3 kids to feed? Does that make sense? How sad would that have been? So I was very blessed by finding something. So I feel like the first key is exposure, exposing them to what's out there, because what they see on television isn't the sum total of what's available. And they, the things that are glorified and glamorized before these kids.
I want to be an influencer.
Yeah, an influencer. I want to be a basketball player, or
I want to be a crypto trader.
Yeah. And look, people have made money doing amazing things, but is that the right thing for you?
Low percentage play.
Yeah. And so it's like exposing them to other things that could still garner them a great life, or position them to go places in their lives and achieve things in their lives, but at the same time have a real reward. Like, it's not like the saddest thing is to see a person working their whole lives to get into the MLB and never make it, and then they just become an alcoholic, a fat alcoholic for the rest of their lives. Because they had this one thing and there was no backup plan, and that you really never had a chance at that one thing because nobody told you weren't that good.
So I never know what the answer to this one is, because I definitely see that perspective where it's like, okay, let's say that Maya came to me and said she wanted to be a stand-up. I would be like, yes, because I love art and I love stand-up comedy and I love everything about that. But I feel that it would also be my responsibility as a parent to be like, listen, get a temp job in the meantime, get a waitressing job, get a whatever job, because you're going to have to grind. I'm not going to lie to you.
Is she funny? Here's the thing. I've had to say to someone very close to me, you want to be a singer, but you can't sing.
Ooh.
Like, how about being the person behind the scenes? If you just love music, maybe you're not the in front of the microphone person. Maybe you're the person that's writing music. If you're maybe that's like same thing with me. I had an affinity for teeth. I only had exposure to the dentist. I didn't know that there were all these other things behind the scenes. It's the exposure. And let's try that out. Why don't we have you temp as a writer? Why don't we have you temp or intern as a producer? Why don't we have you intern as a promoter? Let's do some other things behind the microphone. Make sense?
But I feel like that feels, so there is that situation where the person who wants to do the thing is not talented, and then you can call a spade a spade. But even, here's the thing, what if she can sing, or what if he can sing, or what if he can write? Even then, it is such a low percentage play. The amount of people who can sing, dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Amount of people who are famous, like lifelong famous, is 0.0001% of the people with immense talent.
Yes.
So that's the thing. If you can't sing at all, get off the stage. I remember I hosted that open mic night in Brooklyn back in the day. You would be shocked at the amount of people that think that they should be on a stage, that have no business being on a stage. I was like, seriously? Really? Wait, you tried to get on a stage?
So let me tell you a funny story. My daughter,
please do.
My daughter finished her first year in college. And so as a treat for her, I had her ship all of her things home that she was shipping home. And I had her meet me in Florida because she's a big kid. And I took her on a Disney World vacation. At the Disney World vacation, the team, or American Idol was there. So this is way back when, 2012, I think. But American Idol was on the premises where we were staying at the Disney Resort, and they were doing American Idol auditions. And she was like, "Mom, let's go. And I was like, "Yeah, we can sing. Come on, girl." We got up there and we sang our little song, and they were like, "No, thank you, ma'am. Get off."
Wait, can you sing?
No, I can't sing, but you couldn't tell me I can't because I'm so passionate about music. So
really?
Because I could slightly carry a note, I thought I could sing. There's a difference between singing and just being able to carry a tune in a paper bag. Those are two different levels. I was not American Idol thing, nor was my child. But guess what? It was fun, and we got the little what do you call it? The little sticker that they put on your shirt, like, I tried out for American Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. We had that, and we had the best laugh ever at dinner that night. Like, Mom, we really thought we could sing. I was like, we really did. Because we sound good at home as a unit. Oh, we sound good at home. We will rock you out at our house, but we are not American Idol standard.
But is that the only time you've gotten on stage, or has this been on multiple occasions?
Honey, every chance I get, I'm going to do karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
Put me in front of a microphone and karaoke. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to keep getting in line 89 times because it's fun. It's
Wait,
fun.
what's your song? What do you do?
Girl,
karaoke?
either something by Tina Turner. Give me one reason to stay here.
Oh, you're gonna do Tracy Chapman?
And I'll turn right back around.
You're gonna do Tracy Chapman?
Girl, yes, I will.
Oh, I love that song.
So, I mean, I will do it, but I can't sing
20.
for real. Look, I can barely
I bet
talk.
you could do
if I sound
Give Me
nasally
One
when
Reason
I
to Stay
talk,
Here.
you know doggone well I can't sing. So I'm saying that to say,
I'd like to hear that song.
let's be realistic.
It's got a low register. It's gonna fit your voice perfectly.
Yeah, I have fun with that one.
Yeah.
But I have a whole list.
Next time we get together, it's a date.
I love it. I'll do it for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to hold you to it.
So what about yours, though? So I just believe that if we're going to support our children, it has to be done realistically. Like, we all have these aspirational ideas of what we want for our kids and things like that. But I feel that there has to be a level of realism in there so that they have an opportunity to become the best that they can be.
Okay, so as you were talking, I was putting myself into the position of young person, and you were my dad. And I was really reacting to like, oh, I want to be a singer. I wanted to be a singer. I also wanted to work in film. I wanted to do a lot of things that were creative. And then my dad would say, there's no money in that. You can't do that. What if you look into this instead? What if you look at, and it's like, I did look at doing the audio on the film set. That is not the same thing. That is not creative. That is highly technical. And it's not, I don't want to record something someone else is doing. I want to be the creator with a capital C, you know? And so I wish, and then you do see these people who break through, who they stayed true to their craft. They worked hard at it. And they were a waitress. And then they broke through at some point.
Yeah.
And also probably millions that didn't. So if someone is talented,
such a fine line.
It is a fine line. That's what I was thinking about while you were talking about it, because when you're telling me to go look at something that's singing adjacent, I'm hurt by that.
Yeah.
When you're my dad and I'm the one with the big dreams, you already are kind of, I don't know what the word I want here is, but it's like you're tamping down whatever chances I had of success, because now I'm not going to, for that type of thing, you have to go big or go home. You're either all in trying to make that thing work, pounding pavement. Like Sarah Silverman was like handing out flyers at the comedy show. Like, you have to go so big to have any chance at that 0.001%.
Yeah.
And so and then I was reading something that David Sedaris said. So I'm obsessed with David Sedaris. I'm obsessed with a lot of things, I realize. But I love him. He's one of my he's probably top 2 for me writers. And he said, if you have a fallback plan, you're going to fall back.
Yeah.
That's what he said. So that is the thing. I think going back to the example where Maya wants to be the stand-up, I just want to say, you're going to have to get a temp job, and you're going to have to work nights, because the thing about stand-up comedy and why I respect it so much is those people pound pavement, man.
They do.
Even if you are the biggest comic in the world, you are still
have
those
to do
open
the
mic nights to work out that material. Yes, same thing with rappers. It's like you have to keep your skills sharp, and there's that is part and parcel with that trade. So I would just say, make sure that you are really, really willing. Because people also told me, do you have to do it? I would write to someone who was a writing mentor of mine, and I would ask him, like, should I become a writer? I actually even met Tara Brach one day, because she used to, why do I keep saying obsessed? Very obsessive personality, I guess. But Tara Brach, hugely influential to me. I met her. I went down to Maryland to see one of her live Dharma talks, and she's just there for the taking. You can just walk right up to her and talk. And I remember saying to her, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to try to go, because she has a PhD in clinical psychology, and I wanted to pick her brain about whether she thought that was a worthwhile career path to take. And and then I said, or the other thing I want to do is I really want to do something creative. I want to write or make music. And she said, well, I'll tell you that there was a lot of hoops to jump through to get the psychology degree through school. And then she said, you're just going to have to make a decision about whether you want to live on the edge. And
okay, so how I see that is exactly what you're saying. Okay, so say I'm the parent, I'm your dad that is saying, hey, listen, I don't think you're Whitney Houston, but I think you have some talent. But here is the thing. So let me just preface this with I have a family member that has wanted to be on the public stage, and we supported that family member, and that career came to naught. Now, the reason I feel that it did, and what I'm learning now as I say, well, we supported you with this and we supported you with that, and you put out so many pieces of, content, and you did this and you did that, which we were supportive of it because we know how much work and how much courage it takes to do what that person did, right? But the other side
and better
of
to
it,
have tried and failed? Question mark.
right? But the other side of it, it was never that good. Some things were like, "Oh, that's good," but most of it was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, probably not."
Like they never really hit their stride and got to a level where they had high quality output consistently.
My problem is that with all the support that you had, to hear you say now, "Oh, I never gave it 100%," that pees me off. That pees me off because you should have been working nights at a burger joint and in the studio in the daytime. And you should have been, like you said, passing out CDs on Hollywood Boulevard. And you should have been doing, like, you had all the opportunity in the world to do all those things and you never did. And now you want to say, oh, I'm going to give it 100% this time. Who's coming? Who's going to support you now, 89 years later? Not me.
Yeah.
Not me. Go get a job.
Right.
So I feel like it goes both ways. Like if you see a Sarah Silverman that's out there hustling, like she's already done the work to create the content and then she's doing whatever it takes to get that, what she feels is good content in the hands of a decision maker. That's the work.
Yep.
That's a person that I would never try and tamp out.
Yeah, that Molly Shannon book that I was telling you about where her dad has that quote about the ingredients of success. She's making these different characters and then she's trying them out and she's raising money with her temp job to rent a little theater and then no one's coming and then she's working on that material so that it is more compelling and then she's inventing a new character. Then she's working a temp job for someone who's comedy adjacent so she can try to get in that way. She never stops.
Yeah. That's a person that you can almost guarantee success, though. And that I'm never mad at because that's a person that's unstoppable. That's when you can support the non-traditional career path.
Yeah, there was a guy who I went to high school with. He just had that thing, like that star quality. He was in all the plays. This guy was so good. And then I remember I knew a lot of people, especially just being from the New Jersey area. We are so New York adjacent that a lot of people shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
I don't know any of them who've made it, but they've had varying degrees of success. Like they've never made it to the universally recognizable phase, but I know a lot of people. I know probably a good half dozen people who've been on Law and Order SVU. That is a very popular option. But this particular person, he went out to LA. He gave it everything he had for like 10 years. And then he ended up becoming a photographer. And who's mad at that?
Nobody.
You know? Because he is really talented. And at least I think he can go to sleep at night knowing, or maybe he was longer, 15 years, 20 years. He tried it for a really, really long time. And he just didn't find the right inroads or the right combination of circumstances didn't align. But he's still out there. He's still a photographer. And yeah, who's mad at that? Because you can still go to sleep knowing you gave it your all.
Right. I just feel like
it is a fine line.
There's a fine line because when you choose the traditional path, there are so many other things that come into play. And you kind of hinted on some of this. But when you start having the conversation of where to attend and all of this, there is so much that race comes into the conversation, financial status comes into the conversation, pedigree. There's so much that comes in, stereotypes. There's so many distractions once they get in, that stuff
Yeah.
abounds. And so I just love the idea of children or young people being given a choice to attend or not to attend. But I just would always push the idea that hard work is never an option, whether you attend or not.
I agree. The hard work has to be there.
And I think that's the real line.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the real line.
Yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra.
You want to get into our backstory?
I
Are we
do.
really zooming through this today? Are we really?
So
okay, so go ahead. Go ahead. Come on. I'm going to jump in the passenger seat. Go ahead, Jen.
I'm dipping my toe into participation.
I love it.
I'm laying the groundwork for 2026 in Q4. So our life focus question for today is challenging. This is another long one. Challenging the one size fits all education narrative, recognizing that college isn't for everyone, honoring multiple paths to prosperity and purpose. You can tell that we are, I don't know why these
so
are
passionately.
I don't know. We can't get rid of any of them. We want to hit on all those points. Okay. I want to kick this one off because I do want to revisit that quote that I had said in an earlier episode from Molly Shannon's dad, because I loved that book so much, but also because she could have easily never found success on Saturday Night Live. And I was just reading this article in the New Yorker it's very old, about Saturday Night Live, because I think it just hit, 50 years would it be? Did it start in 1975? I don't know. I think it was 50. So it said in this article that everybody thinks that the funniest era of SNL is when they were in high school. And I thought that can't be true, because the time when I was in high school was objectively the best time of SNL, because that was Will Ferrell and Molly Shannon and Sherry O'Terry. Like, that was the funniest time objectively, right? But so it was funny to hear that everybody.
Yes, objectively, because when Eddie Murphy was on, girl, bye.
So was that your high school era, Eddie Murphy?
It was around that time. It was a little bit after, I think.
There you have it. The proof is in the pudding. But so I want to go back to that quote just because this sums it up for me. So, quote, he did not care about grades. He felt that a combination of social ability, street smarts, understanding how to make a buck, asking people questions, being charming, and showing an interest in others would get you a lot further in life than academic achievement. So that is exactly how I feel. Learning how to make a buck, that's what I didn't know when I went to college. So I was just like, oh, I'll study Javanese gamelan. Really? Really? And then I would smoke a joint right before it with my friends. Why is my dad bankrolling this nonsense?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, fine, have a good time. But I had no other side of it where I was a hard worker. I was not a hard worker. I was missing that key ingredient.
Yeah.
And so I just want my children to understand that being a hard worker, having a good work ethic, and then playing nice in the sandbox, knowing how to talk to people, showing curiosity towards other people, being kind to other people. All those things are how you make connections, and how you make connections is how you get ahead.
Yeah.
I never really thought about how much does this cost? How does what this costs translate into man hours of me on the ground busting my butt, you know? Because then when I got into a job that paid $17 an hour, guess how many hours 17 adds up to $200,000?
And then can you understand if you received any resentment from your dad after he bankrolled that education to watch you on a job that paid $17 an hour after the fact? Can you imagine how much resentment that would build up? Like, is this what you're going to do? Is this all you're going to do? Are you kidding me right now?
It did. It did.
You know what I mean?
Every different career. So I'll switch this question over. So it was non-traditional career paths, right?
Yeah.
So that quote that I just read, that's what I wish I had known when I was 18 years old. I wish I had taken a gap year, learned how to make a buck before I proceeded to squander a ton of money tripping mushrooms on
and
the
learn
quad.
the value of $1.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. So I went to a top 10 university.
Yeah.
I got straight A's. I was number 10 or 11 out of over 400 kids. I was really, really competitive academically, but I was really lazy. So talk about hard
the
work.
work
I'm the
ethic.
opposite of that. No work ethic.
Yeah.
I just would study the night before. I was an excellent memorizer, and that's basically all you need to do for public education.
For college.
And then I regurgitated whatever they needed me to, and then promptly forgot about it and moved along my way with a perfect score. So that did not teach me a good work ethic. And so then that crucial ingredient was missing, and then also just my willingness to pursue anything that took a lot of hard work. Right away, I was out of the film industry because they wanted me to work 12-hour days. And in the film industry, also, it's very, very hierarchical. So I had to start at a PA. And I was like, I'm the director. So the PA is the production assistant. You're the one who moves the cones around on the ground. So some of the early... Can you imagine me doing that? I'm so...
Oh my gosh.
Like, I have such a huge problem with authority. So can you imagine my face when someone was like, your job is to take these orange cones and move them? This was actually very scary. So it was on a New York City block, and I was supposed to stop the pedestrians from walking on a certain block.
Ooh.
Do you know how hard it is to stop New Yorkers from going where they want to go?
I'm saying.
It was a horrible job. And then not only is that your job, but that's for 12 hours. And then 12 hours comes and goes, and now you're working 14 hours today. It is crazy. I was so tired. I just did not have the constitution to be doing that type of work. So that began and ended pretty quickly. And then I just floated around to different documentary companies and this and that. And I never really found my way, honestly. So, I actually worked in the dental lab industry briefly, which is where I met you. I was a software product manager, and I really loved that job because it was really creative. But, I felt like I was taking my work home with me a lot. It was creative, but then that was really taking a large amount of my capacity and brain power, and I was just also a mess at that time, more importantly. But I guess I do work a semi-traditional job now, but I have a very alternative schedule, which I negotiated up front. I'm very intractable when it comes to my personal freedom. So I think this podcast is my alternative career path. I've finally found a way to create. I know I keep breaking the third wall, and also I want to be really clear that I do know that the expression is to break the fourth wall, but I am not. If anyone who's a loyal listener of this podcast, I've broken the fourth wall, which means to address the audience directly exactly 2 times, because I'm very shy. I would never address you guys directly. I guess I'm doing it right now, but I'm very shy, so I wouldn't do that. What?
Every single episode?
No, I never. You do. I don't. I never break the fourth wall. I only break the third wall, which means that we always say third wall, but it's sort of misspeak, because the third wall colloquially means just that we're acknowledging that we're in a medium. Yes. It means we're acknowledging the medium that we're currently
and the fourth wall
within.
is...
The fourth wall is like in a play
directly.
where you have the backdrop and you have the left wall and the right wall, and then the audience is the fourth wall. So you're addressing the audience. I felt the need to clarify just in case anyone.
So we know that we're misspeaking in other words.
We know. Well, it's actually there kind of isn't really a thing called the third wall, but then because people keep misspeaking it, they made it mean that you're acknowledging the medium you're part of. Because of shows like The Office, where they'll roll their eyes kind of at the camera, like acknowledging like, I know I'm in a show. It's like that. So anyway, I'm rambling. I have found, I guess, sort of the traditional way to do art, which is that I have a job to hold it down, and then this is my passion project with you. But what I love about this so much is that I always had a massive fear of tying my income to creativity, because what if the well runs dry? That's what scares me. So actually it has benefited me to have this solid job that I can hold down the fort, and then we can do this project completely on our own terms. It would never be tied to something financial.
3, 2, 1, one. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. I could flip a dollar to $1 million. I don't like to brag, but I'm really on 3, 2, 1. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. 3, 2, 1. I don't like to brag, but I'm really on.
So, that's my long-winded rambling answer. Let me turn it back around on you. How am I even going to recreate this question? Challenging, how do you feel about challenging the one-size-fits-all education narrative, recognizing that college isn't for everyone, honoring multiple paths to prosperity and purpose?
When you say the word purpose, you know that I live for that word.
I do.
And
it's
so
in your book title.
Yep. And I actually, my new company is Purpose Avenue Consulting. Like everything with me is all about purpose, right? I do not play with that. And so I believe that I did not choose entrepreneurship, my alternative path. I believe that it chose me. I was still, if left up to me, I would have probably still been working for a dental lab. And then after my kids got out of the house, I would have gone and got my advanced degrees. That's how my life would have gone. The fact that entrepreneurship chose me and has taken my life into a completely different direction, I am of the thought that we as a people have been sold a false choice, that it's either to go the credential route or not. But I really believe that the third option is what's missing, which is choosing your own path with full awareness of what that choice demands. Like there will be consequences. Whatever you choose, there will be consequences. But that hard work is not an option. It's mandatory with whatever you choose. And so when I think about this, I feel like if you go with whatever you feel in your heart, like some people, it's just meant for them to get the degrees because what they're going to do, like George Washington Carver had to have a higher education to be able to do all the things that he did with the peanut, because it was the education that gave him access to those laboratories to create to that level, right?
Some things you need it.
But I feel like there was also something spiritual about something in him that would help him say, let me dig deeper into this peanut and see what all it could become.
Because he's an inventor.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like I don't think it's a either or. I feel like we live, I don't know, a lot of times we say it in this podcast, we live in the both and. Sometimes it might be you choose the direct route and then you end up going, you choose the scripted route, the credentialed route, and then you end up going the direction of entrepreneurship or something else. Or you choose the other route where it's like, I need the gap year, and that gap year turns into 5, but you've also discovered your passion in that 5 years, you know? So I think the bottom line is making a choice. I feel that a lot of the issue is that people don't decide. They just said, oh, I'm going to see here and I'm going to see. I feel like you only get a year or two to see. And then you have to make a choice.
Year or two.
And when you make that choice, you live out those consequences. That's just the bottom line. But when you're making the choice, have some elders around you that can explain to you what their experiences were, good or bad. And that can help you make the best choice for you. Like, it doesn't make sense that if my dad was a starving artist, why can't I be an artist that eats? You know, based on modifying the things that he felt he did wrong. You know, like let's use the experiences of those that came before you to help your experience.
Which goes back to being curious about people, asking people questions. You can learn so much from other people's experience.
Yes, so that yours includes less suffering.
Yeah.
But that you're sold out to whatever it is that you're doing, and that you're happy. Like, I want to be at the end of my life, I want to be the person that says, okay, I'm done because I've done all the things that I want to do. And I feel like I'm halfway through my life and I feel like I'm halfway done. Not kidding you.
Yeah. And you can always pivot too. One of the things I admire the most about you is your your willingness to reinvent yourself constantly and just your openness. I can see you at 80 saying, I have now decided I'm going to become blank. I can just very easily see you just going and going and going with that.
I see myself 60 years old graduating with an advanced degree.
Yes.
Because that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and also people change. So, I am constantly toying with the idea of becoming a therapist. There is absolutely no one in my life who would be surprised if I said I'm going to become a therapist. But it's that education thing. I'm looking down the barrel of really serious student loan debt.
Yeah.
Not to mention years of my life to commit to something that I don't know if I want to do that day in, day out.
Yeah. But the way you are with people and the way you like to engage, oh my God, how perfect would that be?
But what about the way I also like to be alone and I have a very limited tolerance of people for more than X hours a day?
Yeah, there is that too.
So I love people, but I'm like a firework. Like I go up hot and fast and then I'm done. Like I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm out.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I want to do. Okay, so we're done. They're like, Doc, we still have 30 minutes. I said we're done.
No, I can talk forever, but it's just a question of. So I am there. I'm just going to say it. I am not a hard worker. I am very, very devoted to work-life balance. And so every time, if let's say I do become a therapist and you give me the option of working 80 hours a week for twice as much money, I'm going to be like, how can I get my hands on 25, maybe 20? And I think that there's a very strong reasoning for why you wouldn't want to have actually that many clients. I actually spoke with my mentor about that because she used to be a social worker and now she's a coach, but she has experience with how many is the right amount to take on because you want to give everyone, give of yourself to everyone without burning out as well. But it doesn't even have to be that. I'm just not a hard worker. And I'm not saying that if there was a project at work, I wouldn't throw down because I can go with an intensity, and that's not what I'm saying. I do a good job. But if it was something where it's like you should clock in early and leave late, forget it. I'm out.
And I used to do it all the time because I loved the work.
Exactly.
I do it now. I do it now as an entrepreneur. Same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have the house to myself this week. What am I gonna do? Not how much am I gonna sleep? Like what all can I get done this week?
And I would be like, how many
series
can I marathon?
Oh my gosh.
But I think
still
that's
not on.
But that's the thing is I hope that now that you're saying that I hope I can honor with my children is that people are different. So my temperament is that I am extremely risk averse. So as much as even when you say entrepreneur, I'm like, yeah, but then what if I didn't have a consistent salary coming in? Just the idea of that strikes fear into my heart because I don't want there ever to be, even if I'm high on the hog in certain years, but it's very boom or bust, and then I'm going through a dry spell. I don't have the constitution. I'm very sensitive and very, not weak, but I have a huge fear that comes in when it comes to, you can't pay this bill or something because this is a dry year because you're working for yourself and because business is up and down. And that's a lot of pressure. And I'm not the type of person. Oh my gosh, here I go. What type of person? Now I'm never able to unring that bell.
And there's a way to do it though. But there's also a way to do it where you
it's not
can. If you know that about yourself, you put different safeguards in place to make sure that you can, on the drought years, if you know that they're coming, that you can still maintain your lifestyle on the drought years.
And I'm not a saver. So do we really want to combine
so you don't put yourself in that position
with boomer bust industry?
You don't put yourself in that position.
If I was my own mom, I'd be like, you go ahead and get something with a salary, honey, and then do your creative thing on the side. Which is exactly where I landed. So everybody's where they're supposed to be.
We are all where we're supposed to be. But I love, so what I feel like I'm coming out of this with you having small children, what we're coming out of this with is watching them to see, where their passions lie, where their strengths lie. One of the things, can I say this? One of the things that came up this week, Jen and I had an issue some weeks ago. Here we go. Did I just do it again? Did I do it again?
I think this is breaking the fourth wall because you are directly addressing the audience, even though you're being kind of discreet about it. You're like, hey,
so we
let me
had
tell
an
you guys
issue
something.
where she wanted me to do some marketing for the thing, but that's not my strength. But I was going to do it because I'm a team player, whatever. We're okay. Let's try it. Well, it was a massive fail.
Yes.
But this week, though, or last week, I had to do some interviews for people that would do that work for us. And what was so great was
we're outsourcing that.
Yeah, but that leaned into my strength. So that was enjoyable work for me. It was very
interviewing people.
Oh, it was leadership. It was, but it leaned into my strengths and so I feel like at the end of this conversation, if we don't do anything to support those that are coming after us, it's really looking at them and really helping them to assess what their strengths are so that they can lean into those, whatever it is, if it follows the credentialed or scripted route or if it doesn't, but being able to support them on the right path, because it's like, you know what? I remember when 2 of my kids were going to college at the same time, and one kind of guilted me into signing up for his package because the other one was going, well, you did it for her, right? I did it for her because she's scientifically strong. She took all AP science classes and aced them, right? But for you, you're more creative but now even though what the boy chose, what my son chose was leading into his creative strengths, but he wasn't a learner like that. He wasn't a classroom learner. Right. And I knew that, but I signed up anyway. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like we can't dishonor. I feel like it's dishonoring them to a degree by not saying what's true. Like, you're not going to excel in this because you don't respect authority, or you're not that person that's going to follow the rules and do whatever it takes to get to the end, where this other one might. Because she's proven that through everything else. So I just think that if we honor them by actually, like you said something recently about you wanted to not be so taken up by the things that were happening in the room, and you wanted to really be able to, like, even if you're cooking, you want to be able to kind of peek in on your kids and look at what's happening, the things that they don't think you see. But that extra mother's watchful eye is the thing that will serve you when you're having that conversation in 15 years about which direction do I go.
Well, that's why I'm saying with my son, I'm noticing the way he likes to manipulate the physical world, and maybe that's just part of being one, but I'm watching him.
Yeah.
I want to see what he's drawn towards so I can, and that idea of mirroring goodness, I want to say, hey, baby, these are your strengths, and what you're saying, these are not your strengths. I'm so glad you're bringing us back around to this, to what you were saying in the beginning, because maybe that's it. Maybe it's just know your strengths.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the social media person, both of us don't want to do social media, and I want to do this on our own terms. So why am I doing something I don't want to do when this is our project? No one's paying us.
Right.
Like, where did I get this idea that there has to be some type of, like, whose oversight is this if it's not ours,
Yeah.
And so, but then in terms of the skill of interviewing someone and the skill of trying to find the best person, we were having a conversation about it, and you said, oh, so-and-so, they were older and it looked like they needed the money. And I was like, oh, they're older and they need the money and we feel bad for them, we should hire them.
No
and you were
way.
like, no, they'll find someone else. So that is not a strength of mine. I would hire someone because I pity them. That's not the way you seek out who's the best member of our team.
No.
And then even when you said it, oh, it's down to 2 or possibly 3, I'm like, oh no, we're gonna let someone down. Like, because of my people pleasing, I'm probably not the best person to execute a search for who's the best candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think we all have to
lean into our
have
strengths,
self-awareness, and help each other to have self-awareness of path of least resistance,
Yeah. Okay, let's get into these recipes, Jen. This has been a good conversation. I'm loving this.
Yeah.
So, trade school tacos, which is a simple technique with professional results. You guys, we never did my Oxtail Birria tacos because that day that I finally
made
made
it up.
them. No, I did make it
Oh,
up, but I
you
made them
did?
and they were absolutely delicious.
Oh my gosh, yay.
And
Okay.
when I tried to share the recipe, our notes were so long that I couldn't fit them in there. But they were a total hit. And I made them for friends.
Okay.
I might share the Oxtail Birria tacos. They're delicious. They are unbelievable. That's what I'm going to share. We already talked about it in a whole other episode. So, and you know, I've shared chicken tacos on here. I've shared turkey tacos. So you go with your tacos.
Oh, you're not going to tell us how it went?
Oh no, it was exactly what I did. It was
the exact recipe. So you'll just give it to us this time.
It was the exact recipe, but I'm just going to share it in the show notes.
Love
it was
that.
literally the exact recipe, and the only thing that I did extra was I added I used Oaxaca cheese, but then I also used crema.
Okay.
So I used the Oaxaca cheese as my cheese, but then I used the crema over the top.
That always makes it though.
It was so freaking good.
I bet. That takes it up to restaurant level.
Oh
Trade
my
school.
gosh. I was like, I've been playing around with some things and I'm like, somebody need to pay the lady for these because pay the lady. Mm-hmm.
And our original recipe idea was that self-taught souffle, which was like something that seems like it came from a culinary school and was really your invention. And I was like, I got nothing. My stuff is unimpressive. But then you came out with the birria tacos.
Yeah, that was my thing.
That is a trade school taco. All right. Well, mine is not exactly a trade school taco, but I'm going to do an Uncle Bob recipe because I have been slacking on those. I know. It's really simple, but I actually found out, I was looking it up the other day to just see what's the deal with this because it turns out that it actually is a thing and they used to do it at Disneyland and it wasn't called this, but Uncle Bob used to call it Taco Surprise. And you take Fritos and I forget whether he did it in the bag or not. I think he did it in the bag. You take Fritos and then he would use ground beef and he would do with taco seasoning. You can either make it or buy it. And then he would just do that with cheese and he would put the whatever meat you want and then the cheese over Fritos. And then he would put tomatoes, lettuce, onions, sour cream, maybe avocados, hot sauce. He loved Cholula hot sauce. And then he would say, surprise, it's not a taco. And it was just cute because it was kind of like dad humor and he thought it was so funny. And it was one of those ones where it's like, that's not that funny, but I love you so much that I'm smiling like that.
I'm a goofball, so I would have been tickled pink.
Really?
Yes. I love a good dad
surprise, it's not a taco. Yeah, he was cute. So that's Uncle Bob's surprise, it's not a taco. So that's me.
Okay, so this was yet another very fun, very breaking all the walls episode of What's the Temp podcast. Thank you again for joining us. Be great on purpose.
Have a great 24. Peace.
Bye.
3, 2, 1. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. I can flip a dollar to $1 million. I don't like to brag, but I'm really on 3, 2, 1. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. 3, 2, 1. I don't like to brag, but I'm really on. It's a new day, days been new. Been a decade since I made it out of rent too. We some owners, baby, we don't got no rent due. My trick, but my wife, you like the trick too. Merry Christmas, hey, Saint Nick. What we want, get, we on wait list. How we got here doesn't make sense. Have patience, that'll make sense. 3, 2, 1. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. I can flip a dollar to $1 million. I don't like to brag, but I'm really on 3, 2, 1. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up.